Hello and welcome back to the channel, guys. The crypto market, as you can very clearly see, is not doing great right now. We are seeing a lot of red across the board. We're even seeing certain cryptos like Ethereum down over 10%, Hype down 13, almost 14%, Doge down 9%, BCH, Cardano, ZEC, these cryptos all down over double digits, and Bitcoin itself is not in a great position. It is in a fearful territory. This has been holding pretty strong over the last few days, right around a level of 12. There's not much wiggle room to go with, but we're still seeing it sit right around 11 to 12. It could go down a little bit more, sure, but the fact that it hasn't, I'm frankly a little bit surprised. We can actually see that with that movement that's going on with Bitcoin, it is testing the waters right at $60,000. So essentially trying to bounce right off of that line. It might have gone just a little bit underneath that, but basically right on $60,000. Hopefully that was the bottom. Bitcoin itself down about 5.5% here on the day. And just look at this. We've got 5 days of candle closure back to back that are red. Yesterday tried to make an attempt to close out green, but still came out to losses on the day. And then this key Fibonacci zone right here at $63,000, about $63,200. That crashed through, and we saw that push all the way down to that 60K. Now, if it does break through 60K, the next major milestone is going to be $50,000. It's a psychological level. And then below that is the Fibonacci zone at $48,300. So we have to zoom out quite a bit until we actually cross a point where we realistically saw price levels comparable to this. Yes, there was an instance back here that was on February 6th, but it's a bit of an anomaly. It essentially dropped down the night before, or the day before, and then we saw it go a little bit further the next day before it bounced back, reclaiming back almost all of those losses, and essentially just trying to consolidate here for a while, a little selling pressure, trying to work its way up. Got all the way up here to a nice point back on May 10th before we saw that start to drop once again. The last few days really taking a heavy hit. Volume yesterday, absolutely massive. We could see that the volume yesterday was similar to what we saw towards the very early part of March. And as it is right now, volume is still quite high for the time of day. But we are starting to see a little bit of a climb back up for Bitcoin, pushing closer to $60,500 while I'm recording the video. But again, keeping an eye on that $60,000. It is a very rough territory. Companies like MicroStrategy are definitely feeling a lot of pain right now as their positions are quite a bit in the negative. Now let's go ahead and move on to some other news. So Bill Morgan said if XRP falls below $1.12, it will be its lowest point since November 2024. At that time, Gensler, aka Gary Gensler, was still the SEC chair, and the SEC appeal was still ongoing without an expectation of a settlement in sight. Well, lo and behold, as was mentioned here earlier in the day, at $1.12, it is now sitting at $1.10. It actually went down below $1.10, 109 and a little bit more. And so that's not a great position. And we'll take a look more at the price chart for XRP at the end of the video. So yes, we are seeing levels that we haven't seen for about 2 years. And it was in conditions that realistically just made XRP look a lot more questionable than where it is right now. Let's be very real with that. Moving on, Evernorth XRP. Real world asset tokenization on XRP network is growing faster than Ethereum this year by more than 2x, and it reached comparable total asset value in less than half the time as Ethereum. And then they give you a nice little link there. This content is for informational purposes only, does not constitute investment advice. So yeah, guys, 15 months, look at that. That's how long XRP took to scale tokenized assets from $10 million to $400 million. It took Ethereum 36 months. And just elaborate on this a little bit more. You got Bank XRP. They said Ethereum owns real world assets. Just 20 days produced 96% of XRP's entire year of tokenization. So you have positive $119 million, $101 million, and $61 million single days. Ethereum needed all 365 to keep up. XRP growing at 2 times that rate with Ethereum in 2026. Just going absolutely beast mode. And from Ripple, we have Reese Merrick. They're over at the Istanbul Institutional Market Summit this week. The bank is being built in real time. Nice to see people in the Ripple team continuing to put themselves out there and communicate and try to make network connections and try to find new avenues where this stuff can really be implemented properly. XRP signal that predicted every major rally returns. XRP's monthly RSI has fallen to 42.7, a level seen only in 2015, 2020, and 2022, analyst Salal Kuchker says. Kuchker. Each previous occurrence was followed by a major rally. XRP is also holding above the lower boundary of a long-term ascending channel that has guided price action since 2017. Now, there's a crypto exchange. If you guys have not heard of this, it is called BTCC, and they have been around for 13 years. You get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250x leverage. There's no VPN or KYC required to get started. And there's bonuses. There's a 10% deposit bonus when you deposit over $500 in USDT. And you can get bonuses all the way up to $10,055 per user. If you want to look into this more, if you want to get started, you can find my referral link down in the description below. Now, continuing on, Ripple's own dev confirms it. AI models like Opus 4.8 are now finding vulnerabilities in ZK circuits and protocol designs themselves, not just app code. That's why XRPL team made AI-assisted security reviews non-negotiable. While other chains got 4-year-old bugs hiding in the dark, XRP is already ahead. And this is quite nice. We see from the post here from J. Ayo Akinyele, who says, counterfeit Zcash bugs have been a concern around shielded pools for a long time, so I'm not surprised a missing constraint bug in a ZK circuit went undetected for 4 years. The bigger takeaway is that AI models may be drastically changing the discoverability curve for hard-to-find vulnerabilities. More importantly, security assumptions that held yesterday may not hold tomorrow. Opus 4.8 and future models won't just find bugs in application code. They'll increasingly uncover vulnerabilities in large ZK circuits, crypto primitives, and protocol designs themselves. That's why we've been prioritizing AI-assisted security reviews and adversarial testing as part of our day-to-day development process on XRPL. It's non-negotiable. It sounds good to me. And up next, Congress is going beyond Bitcoin. Congressman Nick Begich's American Reserve Modernization Act calls for a strategic reserve of Bitcoin and other digital assets, not just Bitcoin. XRP is a strategic digital asset. So the question is XRP next on America's balance sheet? From BSCN, XRP Ledger is rebranding its core software. The core software powering Ripple's XRP Ledger will transition from Ripple to XRPLD with the upcoming 3.2.0 release. This structural change requires infrastructure operators to update their systems to align with the Ledger's new nomenclature and technical standards. Developers are currently preparing a comprehensive playbook to guide node operators through the upgrade process as the network matures for institutional grade settlement. And also, Zcash faces scrutiny over its Orchard bug. DNA on-chain points to its XRP ledger, anchored identity-focused ZK architecture. And just taking a look at what's going on with the XRP price, we can see that, like Bitcoin, it has had 5 red candle days. Yes, we take a look at Bitcoin right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with XRP, same thing. We are seeing a little bit of a bounce up. It is still in very questionable territory. We actually saw it drop down to, looks like it was a little bit under $1.09. $1.09. Right about there. Sitting at just slightly above $1.10. This does have volume almost as much as yesterday. So for volume with XRP, this is different than what's going on for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin, it is more than half the way of the volume for yesterday, but it is not nearly at that point. With XRP, it is very, very close. So very likely that this volume is going to exceed that. Again, hopefully this is a bottom position. If it is not, we do need to go ahead and zoom out just a tad bit here. Actually, quite a bit. We need to zoom out a lot, a very long time. We were not seeing this until, as was kind of mentioned, back in November of 2024. If this continues to drop, keep an eye on around $1.06, because when we zoom in on the price chart here, you guys can see we're very close to that zone, and this consolidated for a bit. So there's nothing super strong in this territory when we look at it historically, but there is a little bit of a zone right around in this price range, actually getting really close to $1. Psychologically, of course, $1. And then also we've got the Fibonacci retracement zone, which is going to be down here at 87 cents. So yeah, down almost 6% on the day. Crypto, absolutely just horrific day again, and we'll see how things continue to move. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. God bless you guys. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.